Well folks, the weekend's nearly here and a budding DIYer's work is never done. Today we're going to be putting a new fuel filter in the old GU. This is a simple one, I'll show you how it's done.
Alright, the first thing we're going to need to do is disconnect the inlet and the outlet hose from our pump. That's these ones here. Get a quick screwdriver in there, undo him. Make sure you undo it a fair way because that clamp needs to get over the barb that's on the end of the fitting. Take your time, wiggle him off, don't go rushing it. You don't want to damage the hoses or your hands or anything like that while you're working inside there. And to actually change the filter itself, we're going to remove the entire housing. It just makes the job a whole lot easier if you can do this part on the bench. We also need to undo this clip here. Now this clip runs into the little water trap sensor in the bottom, so if there's any water in the fuel you'll get a light on the dash. That's that sender that I'm removing here. As air enters the system, you see all that diesel in the filter start to leak out, so it's a great idea to have something to catch that diesel in. I'm using a measuring cup here that I've pinched from the missus' kitchen. I'm going to be in all sorts when she sees this. So just empty that out. You can see the sediment that's come out of the old filter. It's probably not a bad thing that it's in the filter and not in the fuel system, so we're doing its job right there. Now the last bloke who changed the filter has put this thing on super tight, so it's out with the big Stillsons. Give it a bit of a heave. It does not need to be this tight, folks. It really doesn't, and I'll show you that shortly. But off with the old filter. Still a little bit of diesel left in there, making a mess. The O-ring, that can go. And you see this seal that's on the end of the water sensor, that can go as well, because in your new filter you'll get a new seal, so definitely make sure that you use that. Now the seal that comes on your new filter, just give that a bit of a lube up with some diesel. So grab the diesel out of the filter that you took out of the old filter, give that a bit of a wipe down. Make sure your O-ring that goes on the filter housing is lubed up as well. Screw it all back together. Pretty simple. Just wind him on. Once you get some resistance there, you want to go about another turn. Just enough to compress that seal. Grab the new seal for your sender unit there. Make sure it's all the way home. And the same deal, this doesn't need to be super tight. It just needs to be tight enough to compress that rubber O-ring. That way you're not going to have leaks and you're not going to damage anything next time you need to take it off. That's all done. It's really that simple. So that's the new filter in place. So now it's just a case of reversing the process. Find the plug down here for our sender unit. We'll plug those back together. Like I said, that will give us a warning on the dash if there's any water in the fuel system, which is, could potentially save an engine, so don't miss that step, very important. And time to get those bolts out and get that housing put straight back where it needs to be. There we go, hoses back on, those clamps up nice and tight. All it's left to do now is to prime the system. So this is going to fill the filter up with fuel, get rid of any air, and before you know it, you're good to go.
Well there you go folks, it really is that simple. No need to pay a mechanic. My system's all primed up, she's ready to rock and roll now, and I know I'm going to have a trouble-free weekend out there on the tracks. If you want to have a crack at this one yourself, go to your local Auto One, grab yourself some Ryco filters and have some fun in the shed.